Hey guys, Dr. Callahan here for week 2 Friday. This is going to be your notes. Take a look at the question for the warm-up. You can go ahead and write this anywhere down on a separate piece of paper. Pause the video and complete it. Okay, so for today, which is an online day, make sure you guys are going on to the YouTube video that I have. So you can either do this on MS Team or you can go ahead and just go to YouTube. Find the video that I am using and watch the video, do the activities. And then in the comment section, just type in your name. So like my name is Natalia Callahan, and then also add a period. So for you guys, it will be period 1. And that's what I'm going to do to take attendance for virtual online days, and then also on the days when I see you guys either on A days or B days. So if you are online for one of the A or B days, make sure you guys go to the day and the video. So like on Monday, it will be week 3 Monday. That's when you're going to find the video on the YouTube channel. And if you're not sure how to find the YouTube channel, let me go ahead and show you guys. Get out. So here you have this part right here. These are my videos. I'm going to go ahead and help you guys find it. So I have 3 classes here. You guys are Algebra 1. And this is a link. I can go ahead and make this a little bit smaller. And so rather than having a really long link, I can make this a little bit smaller for you guys. And here we go. So this is going to be your tiny URL for the Algebra 1 channel. If you don't have MS Team, that's not a problem, because as long as you type this in, or in this case, if I click on it, it'll automatically take you guys to the channel of my class. And right now, you guys have 9 different videos, so make sure you are subscribing to that, so that way each time that I have a new video popping up, you will have this made available. So this is for week 2 Friday. And again, make sure you type in your name under the video itself. I don't know your actual login name on YouTube, so if your login name is Shaquille Oatmeal and you put a thumbs up, I have no idea who you are. Or if your name is Hang With My Nomies, or Who's Your Daddy, and Fast and the Furious, make sure you type in your actual legal name that is on Infinite Campus. Here are your answers for question number 3 of the warm-up. X equals 12 and Y equals 5 with cross multiplication. All right, today we're going to talk about compound inequalities. So go to your guided notes for week 2 Friday. We're going to talk about solving inequalities and graphing. Is it open, closed circle? Do I shade to the right? Do I shade to the left? I have a quizzes that you guys can practice on for additional assignments. And then if you need a different video, I do have another video right here on the bottom that you guys can type in. Another thing that you guys can do is that you can go to the Google Doc, which will have all of your classes there. So the Google Doc that I have is going to be as follows. So give me a second. So this is a link to your Google Doc. You can access all of your skills here. So in terms of sections, these are all the sections, and all of my videos are going to be right here on these little dots. okay? And the topics that we cover are always going to be in red. And it says Dr. Callahan YouTube video. There's a link right here, and it's going to be on literal equations and formulas. So that's another way for you guys to go ahead and find your assignments as well. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. This is your guided notes right here. Make sure you guys have that. And I always notate it on the bottom of the date and the week that you should be on. So today is week 2, Friday. Your homework tonight is going to be right here. You're asked to go ahead and solve for these and then go ahead and graph. And we're going to start off with this page right here. Today's objective is solving linear inequalities and learning how to shape the lines and graph in the correct direction. All right, so take a look at those symbols. Copy this part down. This symbol means that it is less than, and because there's no equal sign, it is a closed or open circle. That symbol means greater than. It's also an open circle. This symbol is less than or equal to, and it is a closed circle. This symbol right here is greater than or equal to. It's also a closed circle. And the last one here is not equal to. So pause the video and copy this part down on your guided notes. One thing that you need to know is that if you divide or multiply by a negative number, you must flip the inequality sign. So for example, for this example right here, you have negative 3x is less than or equal to negative 9. You're dividing by a negative 3 on both sides, and guess what? You will have to flip that inequality sign from a less than or equal to a greater than or equal to when you're dividing or multiplying by a negative number. Now let's go ahead and turn over to this part right here. All right, copy this part down to graph. If it is going to have a less than or greater than symbol with no equal sign on the bottom, it is an open circle. Opposite of that, if there is a greater than or equal to or less than or equal to with the equal sign on the bottom, it is a closed circle. If the inequality sign is like eating the letter X, think of it as like kind of like a mouth, it's eating the letter X, it means you have the shade to the right side of the line. And vice versa, if the inequality sign is eating the number, like it is like a chomping little mouth eating the number right here, that means you are shading to the left side of the line. And as always, when you divide or multiply by a negative number, you need to change the inequality sign from less than to greater than, less than or equal to greater than equal to. So I like to think of it as kind of like Pac-Man. If it is eating a letter, like the Pac-Man is eating a letter, you have to shade to the right. If the Pac-Man is eating a number, like this right here, you have to shade to the left. All right, let's go over 4 different examples. Example 1 is your first box. Solve the inequality 2x minus 2 is less than 8. Now, we've already learned how to solve inequalities. You want to isolate the x, but x is not by itself. It has a 2 attached to it and a negative 2. You have to get rid of the negative 2 first because it is not attached to the x like the 2 times x is. So opposite of a negative 2 is you add 2 on both sides. That cancels. You get a 10 on the right side. How to get rid of a 2 times x? Opposite of a times is a divide. And because I'm not dividing by a negative number, my inequality sign stays the same. So x is less than 5. If I were to go ahead and graph this, I will have, here's my line, I will have 5 right there. Given the fact that there is a no equal sign, it's an open circle, and it's eating the letter 5, so I shade over to the left. And that's how I will graph that. Okay, now go ahead and get to example 2, so the next square. This one's a little bit more complicated. You have 7x plus 9 is greater than or equal to 10x minus 12. Remember, since you have x's on both sides, you want to get rid of the x with a smaller number. So 7 is the one you want to get rid of. Opposite of a positive 7 is a negative 7. You want to do that on both sides. Positive 7, negative 7 cancels. Bring down the 9. 10x minus 7x is 3x. Bring down the 12. Opposite of minus 12 is a positive 12. So we're going to add 12 on both sides. That's step 2. So then positive and negative 12 cancels. You bring down the 3x. 9 plus 12 is going to give you a 21. Step 3. Divided by 3 on both sides because opposite of a times by 3 is a divide. So that's going to give you a 7. Now when I go ahead and graph this, I go to 7, it is a closed circle because there's an equal sign, and because it's eating the number, you shade to the left. All right, for example 3, we have a compound inequality. You have 2 different sets of answers. You're not solving anything. This is an and, this is an or. And the only difference is that it's in the way that it's graphed. And generally looks like something that's being shared, so in between shared. Or think of like oar of a boat, like as you're rowing a boat, you have generally 2 different inequalities going in opposite direction. So let's go ahead and graph the first one. You are going to put an open circle on the negative 3, open circle, closed circle on the 1, and when you look at the negative 3, notice that's eating the letter x, which means you're going to be shading over to the right side. And then at the 1, it's a closed circle, but it's eating the number, so you're going to shade over to the left side. And this part is where you share in between, so this is an and. For the or, negative 2, you should have a closed circle on negative 2. 4, you should have an open circle at 4. And when I graph this, this is eating the number, so you shade to the left at negative 2. This is eating the letter, so you shade to the right at positive 4. So and is in between, or is opposite directions. Let's take a look at example 4. Last example. Example 4, you have negative 6x plus 9 is less than 3. And actually with this one, I am going to modify a little bit. And we will work on it together. So give me 1 second. Okay, so example 4. So looking at this example, you have an or. So obviously you know that your answer is going to be in opposite directions. So looking at this one right here, first thing you want to do is you want to solve for x. So what is opposite of a positive 9? Subtract 9 on both sides. That cancels. 3 minus 9 gives me a negative 6. Same thing over here to the right side. Add the 8 on both sides. Negative 8, positive 8 cancels. 13 plus 8 is 21. Next, you want to get the x by itself. And here you have a times by negative 6. So I'm just divided by negative 6 on both sides. And be careful with this because when you divide it by negative 6 on both sides, this symbol flips from a less than to a greater than. Same thing with the negative 3. When you divide it by the negative 3, this symbol flips from a greater than to a less than. Negative 6 divided by negative 6 is a positive 1. 21 divided by 3 is a negative 7. That is your answer, but you have to go ahead and graph it. So because this is in greater than symbol, it's an open circle at 1, and you're going to be shading to the right. Because this is a less than symbol with no equal sign, it's an open circle at negative 7, and it's eating the number, so you go to the left. And it's or. There's no shared space in between, and it's or. All right, you guys, that's pretty much everything that we're going to do today. If you would like to practice a little bit on solving inequalities in the quizzes, you can go ahead and do that. If you need an additional video to go over something similar to this, I do have another video for you guys to watch as well. Other than that, I hope you guys have a great weekend, and I will see you guys on Monday. Make sure you guys remember to comment so I know that you're here.